go. The first game of VCT EMEA Stage 1 playoffs is live.
Team Heretics starting on the defense, which we see on Fracture tend to be played on the front foot, but not here. It's Eternal Fire to gain a lot of ground towards this B side, but Team Heretics looking interested.
As soon as they collect that info off the Prowler, but there's no presence in A main. You can see Heretics calling a big rotation. Boo holding it down on site. This is the first to fall, no trade, no follow-up. And it is a whitewash from Heretics so far. Eternal Fire trying to make their way through in heaven, and actually Neki from the tower taking down two. Echo in behind! Another 2 versus 4 overturned.
Something that Eternal Fire do excellently is doing the bait and switch, playing off of one another. You see right there, out the smoke goes Neki, distracting the Heretics players, and Echo getting played in with a quick double headshot onto. Do you know what? Overall, I think this is a nice start, but it is only a pistol round.
Vintage Eternal Fire, and a lot of what we've seen from them already. A lot of their attack rounds against Pacific were won from a disadvantageous position. Neki combining to create another clutch, of which he has 11 so far this stage. Joint highest with Boo on the other side of the server, so definitely something to track. As Heretics min-maxing this round for what it's worth, taking the early orb and the A main control again.
Ready to bust out. Got to be worried though overall. Koshmaris having the shot, the Bucky as well. But overall, Eternal Fire getting through this pretty easily. You look at this post plant being strong as well.
Yeah, Fabian a little low. Echo on just the Ghost as well. Heretics most likely playing for exits here, out in the open sight lines. It's a fight rigged against them, but Benji and Kosh have managed to find a couple, and look at the HP. Again, these players are low on Eternal Fire.
Yeah. Overall ends up easy enough. Eternal Fire doubling up, but a lot lost in the meantime. At least you're getting through with 2 Bulldogs, but already you're seeing what Team Heretics can do when they're starting to fight together. And yeah, Eternal Fire need to be careful of that if they're going for these side hits, because if that's Rifles Hazard, it's a totally different ball game.
You can see on Benji's face, still happy with the end result, all things considered. And now heading into the bonus round for Eternal Fire, where they'd struggled in their anti-ecos before. You can see 4 rifles out, Izzy on the Stinger, again just trying to create as much space as possible. It's a 3-2 division of the players, coupled towards the T-Spawn side, and the rest working their way through Dish right now.
Already identifying some of that passive information that the Cypher gets as well. Starting to create question marks that Team Heretics, at this moment in time, are not in the position to clear.
You can see the arcade space now starting to get investigated through Neki's stealth drone. And Fabian actually setting up in the underpass perhaps to try and stun a target here, combined with the ult, doesn't capture anything. Who in the meantime able to shut off that end of the push. As you can see, Eternal Fire have made their way to site, but they've lost 2 bodies in the process.
Yeah, it's all about getting that spike down, and it's so late that Team Heretics are ready for the retake.
Just love this re-wrap back into B main side. Izzy does find a way to cut off Koshmaris at the same time, so the deficit reduced by 1. Post plant now established with a brilliant combination of utility, forcing the peak out wide. Orbital strike taking down 2 targets, and Neki with his hands tied in this clutch. A long way to go, still covers some ground, but Boo bests him in the end.
This is the thing with Fracture, right? There's so much space, you have to give some of it up, and that's why Team Heretics are happy to give away these question mark spaces and not clear, because they're wanting to play to the other side. A nice little crunch towards that A main position, and then after that, right, you're just hitting the site and retaking. Nice util combos, and overall, Eternal Fire can't deal with it.
It's something that Heretics are happy to play for as well. You'll see on a lot of rounds, Neon is on one extremity, and the Cypher on the other side of the map. Both of them just trying to delay, and of course, Koshmaris with the movement utility to get off site. The focus this time again on A main though for the defense, and Eternal Fire playing a patient game.
Would have heard that door being opened, as we're already seeing utility expended, but Eternal Fire were waiting for some information to play off the back of. And that is completely unlocked, but not if they can't get by Riet. Already holding things down, getting by the utility and not cleared. Holding things down! Oh my God! That's unbelievable! One more player to find, but will help him out. And Heretics are straight back.
Heretics playmaker, starring again at the center of the show. Eternal Fire started the round well, all the right signs. Clearing out the A main presence, Kosh loving to play up close with the judge. But then Rians just turns on the heat, as he did against Foot. 30 in the green last time out.
Nice! Let's go, boys!
And 3 targets falling in front of him there.
He's a big player to be getting online for Heretics coming into playoffs. Had a massive game in the last week of groups and continuing that form here and now.
Let's hear how Eternal Fire are handling things in this round.
Bir var bende.
Gelirim ben de.
Cypher buraya trap atıp terste oynuyor. Burada değil Cypher.
Yine attı ya trebi.
Tamam. Ha, yeni
GT
atmışsın.
gitti.
Adam raid burada. Kantin. Aynen şeyin üstünde, Jen üstünde.
Ben sesi inerim ana. Sesi
Tamam,
inerim.
in.
Ananı sikeyim
Let's do
maçta.
the
Ne
fight
gitti ya?
Reveal'ı.
Spike down
Reveal
A.
göster. Beni tek back atacağım, pikleyeceğim. Tek back atıp pikledim.
Cypher side olur
Ben
main
sesi
değil.
yaptım.
Görmedim.
Dedim vurayım hadi. Aa main'de kimse yok. Ben gidip oradaki orba alayım ya. Var abi şuraya tek back
Tamam,
atacağım,
burada
pikleyeceğim.
bekleyek. İnme ekmek. Bekleyek sadece. Tamam smoke attı. Siktir et. Döndür.
Smoke
Gel
attı ya.
gel. Arcade deneyek gel.
Anıl olması lazım lan amin dikkat et.
Bana
Yok,
bir
Cypher'da
ulti gelirse
fade
senin.
var
Geliyor.
burada.
Attım sana.
I have the spike.
Atla olur burada belki.
Eternal Fire playing a slow round, just testing the protocols of Heretics. Something I mentioned a few times is how they're very good at knowing when to play on-site, when to play
30
off-site.
seconds
Something
left.
to detail is Benji's usage of the cage and always keeping one spare just to reposition. He has used it up now, and this is where the threat of that judge again starts to creep in.
Yeah, something that Kosh is really good at, playing with different weaponry, but that's a bit of a mistake. Time low here, not expecting this spike to be successful
10 seconds
and
left.
going down, but it seems to be okay.
Yeah, cover your eyes,
Spike
Sliggy. That's
planted.
another judge given away. Unfortunately, it is taken back in the end. Another quality retake from Heretics. This one far easier than the previous, but the lead now theirs.
Yeah, that's exactly what you're looking for. Just the util combos, keeping things simple for Heretics, not giving away any free jewels like we saw the Neon do in that round. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the end of the world, as it seemed as if Heretics delay slightly.
Yeah, maybe just talking things over a little bit, right? Making the most of the time that they have. I think classically in the past it's been known as the French timeout, right? You just use this dead space in the round to make the most of the cons. And this to the cons. And this is a team, an environment which has faced a shake-up with players coming in and out, but that core has remained firm. We seriously need to see that one again.
Enemy remaining.
Apparently so.
The OBS love it, man. The
Mate,
EVS,
the
I should say.
yeah,
The
the
replays.
replays.
They're actually not the same person.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
You wouldn't believe it, but I tell you what you will believe. The ultimate's coming into this next one. You've got to be looking at, is he already looking to use the Whaley ultimate? That's going to be towards tower, it seems, for this next execute.
I mean, look, they have plenty of ways to combine this with utility damage, but
Back in.
remains to be seen what the entry is as Wu parks his way back out of the tower. The rocket won't be slowed by the hinder, but still doesn't collect any damage. It's Benji playing from on-site, but Echo closing up the distance, encroaching on position, and that follow-up hinder finds 2 targets, but no kills. Back to a 3-on-3 with ults favoring Heretics here.
Yeah, trying to play in Kosh. It seems like he might have an avenue through main.
Fabian's actually going to step out on the site, supported by the smoke, confident in his ability. A reposition towards this close corner, unaffected by the ultimate. Echo will, but pushed into the middle of the felt. He survives and sets up the rest to succeed. Eternal Fire back on terms.
Hey, you'll take that if you're Eternal Fire. You're getting a couple of ultimates out of Heretics as well, with the cost of only 1 for you, really, at the end of that. So all in, positive for Eternal Fire coming into the next one. All even. And this is the type of game that we expected from these two, right? The fact that Heretics was on form, Eternal Fire feeling the exact same in terms of going 4-1 in their own group.
That's why I mentioned at the start as well, this is the first time they face a team with a similar trajectory, and that's the case of round number 7. A total brawl happening in B main, and Wu, through a smoke or something, does find the head of Ordaz. Echo playing in, spoiler behind late. The arcade push coming in, and Main still making its way forwards. Neki with one, but Woot trading it out again. Kosh arriving on the scene, and everything coming up good for Heretics.
Yeah, it seems as if Heretics are so happy to play at Eternal Fire's speed on these execs, and that's why we're seeing issues prop up time and time again. Favian now in a 1 versus 4. Listen, I've seen him pull off the miraculous, the unbelievable, but this would be just unthinkable.
Feels impossible. As he wakes his way up towards tower, the first angle, it's already checked. Boo on high alert now, ready to peek if required, but remaining resolute, stands his ground. Favian still creeping closer. This is the double stack, and that is the death sentence. Heretics back in front now. And just laying down the law on Eternal Fire's quick executes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? The experience on this roster, they're never going to allow a player like Favian to get away with what he has been getting away with in the group stage.
One of the big differences in composition, of course, is the Breach and the Neon. If you're just comparing, contrasting the players and the agents that they would play, just having the availability of that stun is so important to shut down the site hold, and the fact that Koshmaris has
has only won 3 out of the 9 previous Fracture plays, but I feel as if this has been such a component of that comeback. Lotus, Fracture, and Split, that's the 3 big ones, and the fact that Eternal Fire have allowed Team Heretics to have 2 out of those 3 maps, it is insane.
You mentioned comeback as well. I think the key detail is with Koshmaris coming into the team,
of course,
that is the core that they've built around, suited to them, and yeah, with Pearl coming up, that's one we've not seen since the change of course. This is just an eco really for Eternal Fire. They have equipped Izzy with a rifle, and well, Koshmaris caught in the corner with nowhere to stand. Shotgun in hand, has been taken out of the picture as well. Eternal Fire, 2 players to the good. Boo fells the spike before it can move to post plant, but this is a difficult retake.
Yeah, but at the same time, Eternal Fire haven't really got upgrades. You've got Echo up close with a Judge though.
Oh, and Izzy stepping out into the open. Echo as well, just giving up these jewels for Eternal Fire.
I know exactly.
And Heretics, maximum punishment. Neki known about as he steps through the cage. He's caught and taken down. Heretics building on their lead now, but Eternal Fire not without giving them a bit of notice there.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a headache for Heretics, but Eternal Fire give them the relief by peeking them themselves, and I understand that that's their playstyle. They're aggressive, they love to go and take these fights, but that's a really strong post plant with Echo in that Judge. Benji almost feels like he forces Eternal Fire into a corner, but that wasn't necessarily that case at all.
I think it's something that we've got to track, right? The discipline issue on the Eternal Fire side, because it is an issue. It is going to cost them rounds as much as they can clamber back from difficult situations, show grit and tenacity of their own. It's stuff like this that gets you concerned, but we will be checking back in on the comms to hear exactly how they're dealing with this one.
Spike down A.
Yeah, not much said there, honestly. I think that was supposed to be the comms, but unfortunately, we'll have to wait a little longer for that one as Eternal Fire continue their drought of rounds. Heretics shutting down the full investment with another A main chokehold.
And it seems as if it's at a part of the map that Eternal Fire cannot get any value at all. And you feel as if like they really should have the capabilities to do it with the amount of utility that's in their pockets. I mean, the last time it was Rien's on an absolute god turn.
There can only be.
And now, I mean, Eternal Fire are on a really low buy. They're not getting spike plants in. Heretics could be really far in front by the time that we get towards the end of this half.
Shaping up to be the team that we expect as well, as Koshmaris will start the killing on this round. Very weak Eternal Fire side coming in with Sheriff, Stingers and the like. Is he trying to bridge the gap? But Woot is equal to it, and then some. Heretics feeling like this one is owed to them with the way that they've been playing. In zone flawless to set up the 7th. And at what point do Eternal Fire perhaps consider going for that second timeout, as we've known they have done in the past.
Yeah, it feels like with the last 2 rounds and a half, and how much they prefer the attack side, that this is just a disastrous affair. A 1-by-1, they're just walking into the execution chamber, it feels like.
Yeah. It's also Izzy back on this Waylay, right? It's a completely different playstyle from what we've seen from him in the past. Not sure if they were maybe expecting to run into a switch up from Benji on the Vice, perhaps, but when you look at how integral his utility is to the macro that they play on this map, Heretics are starting to build themselves, you know, some success now into playoffs. Operator in play here from Izzy. This has to be the biggest thing to know.
Whether he can find an angle in which to work with. He's on the side.
He's
Who knows? Still doesn't get the kill. At least does a bit of damage, but it's through main that most of the site gets unlocked. Rienz is still on this flank, but he gets caught out. 2 versus 3. Heretics going for the ulti, dice down the spike.
And Benji's actually going to continue that progression through Underpass. So he'll be arriving in Arcade. It's whether Woot realizes that Neki has gone for a flank of his own.
Oh, he's just looked away, thought it was clear. Oh,
remaining.
and there's the kill there. So it's Benji now to give us one of the clutches that it's going to be needed here, right?
Yeah,
Both of these players now completely disconnected. Benji now onto the spike and has 2 cages.
Exactly, it's those 2 cages that can threaten this.
Yeah.
They found my
Need to
wire.
roll back the years in terms of form, but won't be able to do it. Eternal Fire straight back in. This next round, very important for either side. It's the difference between 7-5 half-hazard or an 8-4 scoreline. I mean, that's a big gap between the 2 teams.
It is, especially looking at side bias. I think Heretics walking away with 8 here will feel confident. Then moving forward out of the opening 12. Well, unfortunate in the end for them here, but still Eternal Fire just about hanging in there. The op value not yet returned from Izzy, but we'll have to see how exactly he wants to head in here with the ult that he has.
Seems if we're going back towards A main to try. The operator not hitting though, not connecting, and already locked out of A main. And right now, I'm going to try and go towards that B site.
Yeah, instant rotation called. Izzy still with the convergent paths here to try and use. Yet to see the reposition coming in. It's that early flank again from Heretics that will be arriving on the scene very soon, and the delays there from the ult as well. Koshmaris bringing out an overdrive of his own, but not finding any value from it. Still Heretics collapsing upon Eternal Fire and burying them under the ground.
Spike down.
Only
B.
Echo remaining, and his best efforts will not suffice. An 8-4 half in favor of Heretics.
Yes, a fantastic scoreline to get things going. It's shown that Heretics have the form that we expected. I mean, Eternal Fire look to be on the back foot, but can they bounce back in that second half? Before we do that though, Hazza, we'll go to halftime and hear from Odaz and what he thinks about this playoffs run.
What would you say is the most important thing Eternal Fire is?
Since they've started winning again, and this is one of them. This is one that they haven't lost yet. Letting that through the veto could be a massive mistake. But can Eternal Fire bounce back on the pistol round though, Hazza? Because let's think towards that first half. Well, let's find out how Heretics deal with this.
I had trip on me.
Go.
I see tower. Be long.
No one side.
Okay, danger like, I'm gonna go in, I'm going out there, guys.
Bro, can we go in canteen smoke? Yeah, come. One.
Guys,
Can we push?
they're heavy city, they're heavy city.
Go back, NS.
Yes.
Come.
Go fight.
Bingo
city.
Outside.
Bro, right, canteen.
Side and close.
Player standing.
He's watching you.
Nice.
Wait, he just tapped.
Oh,
Nice try.
fuck. NT.
Bro, it was fucking close.
Alright, nice try, guys.
He fucking...
I mean, it's the exact same start in the first half. Eternal Fire won the pistol round, Hazza. Team Heretics is with a rifle round. That's where they got most of their ground.
Yeah, this is a huge opportunity now for them to try and bounce back. Nice to hear the comms from Heretics, honestly. Always usually delivering. Rian's very vocal in the mid-round there. Usually it's people like Benji, I think, which like to lead those conversations, but your initiator part of that, of course, and a big clutch to win in the end there from Fabian.
I mean, he has been the top performer on Eternal Fire. It seems to be Neki this map, though.
He has. And I think that's one of the things that you've got to tie to this change in the agent as well. Being on the breach, he's not got as many tools to set himself up for fights as he would when he's on that secondary duelist.
It's totally on Audaz and Echo here as the Team Heretics players start to encircle the site. Pretty successful so far. 2 more to find. Audaz can't quite get the last. But at least the rest of Eternal Fire are there to collect. That'll be 3 rifles into the next one. Eternal Fire's bonus looking pretty decent.
Yeah, and all things considered, actually, they had some brilliant defensive rounds. In that final series that they played against GX, it was a key part of the comeback on Split specifically. And of course, while this map is completely different in how it plays, Fracture, not like anything else that you'll find in the pool, I don't think we can underrate what their performances will look like here, considering this was the weaker half, perhaps the one that they focused on a little bit more in their review of the previous outing. Izzy already making his presence known in B main, tagged by the camp and refracts away.
Yeah, at the same time, Team Heretics though are on the other side of the map. Koshmar is trying to dive in all alone, and he is a casualty. One which Eternal Fire will be happy. Where does that come from? And it seems to continue on. Crazy kills between either side. Still the advantage with the defense. And oh, that could completely be dismantled unless Audaz's bandit continues to find a way to win out. Still finding heads. One more. Benji Fishy in main. It's a big one and identified by Audaz, and there's plenty bodies here to support. But is Benji going to clutch? Oh! What is that?
Benji should have had no chance. And when you thought we were set up for a bandit ace of which we've never seen the like, Benji finds 2,000 kills in some style. A Red Bull clutch to just steal it away.
Yeah, what is this, man? Fair enough, Benji.
Audaz should have had it.
Yeah.
He really should have had it. For as good as the previous kills looked, that is the one, the easy one that you miss.
Yeah, at the same time, at what cost have Heretics won that round? Players on low shields. Oh, why is he missing out? That's uncharacteristic. And what? Sending them packing. Now, only 3. Eternal Fire have to try and retake, and Fabian's left all alone. Tries to upset things, but can't do it. This is double digits for Heretics on the cards.
Queued up. And now looking likely as Echo starts to turn away. Still in sand. And what a difference that Red Bull clutch to deny Eternal Fire's bonus could mean. I mean, it wasn't even the gun round. This now transpiring against them as Heretics continue to heat up.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing with Heretics, right? It feels like a team that when it is going good, it's going really goddamn good, right? I think towards 2024, there always seems to be like that unit, that core, kind of all friends with each other. And then it feels as if like they've been going through some pretty rough times, right? You think towards last year, sure, they qualified to international events, but those group stage performances never really translated into playoff and international performances. It feels as if right now, Heretics genuinely could be a real big contender heading in towards London.
Potentially, I mean,
I don't want to get ahead of myself, obviously.
Sure, the map not even done at this stage, but
if they continue in this type of form, with the superstars showing up when they need to.
Yeah, and I think that has to be the biggest detail, though. I mean, you talked about last year, for example, the map pool had a big part to play in that. People would have favored Heretics on paper, but it's in practice that is most important. Looking at the ults that they have here as well, they'll be set up nicely into the next gun round. As Eternal Fire come in with odds and ends here, already looking to overload that A main space, which they struggled to get to grips with on their own attack side, now on the defense. And Heretics invited to play into it.
Nice.
And Koshmaris combining everyone present, and it is well handled in the end.
Yeah, you say invited to play into it. There was really only one team that was going to be playing the game at that point, and it was Heretics. Complete disaster for Eternal Fire. I get it's an eco, but you get the idea. And now it's Echo's Phantom. But overall, yeah, 11 for Heretics we're looking at.
And the fact that they didn't need to use any ults, they didn't get pushed to make a play with those pieces, so those are just stocked up, stowed away and ready for the next. A disciplined approach to this 4 versus 1 as Rians trickles off into main, playing from deep with that final Prowler. Echo sighted on the site itself, and Boo will shoot him down where he stands. That is the 11th. And coming right out of the sequence where Benji finds his 2000th kill in the clutch, it feels like Eternal Fire deflated from that point.
It really does. A team that's had the feel-good factor all of groups has completely been deflated on Fracture.
And it mirrors their last performance here as well, when you consider the fact that take on those top teams again, the elite in the region, and Heretics starting to find themselves rising to the mantle that we set for them, those lofty expectations that have been built up over the years through international finals and other accolades.
Yeah.
Izzy's up out again. This has to be the difference maker.
Don't miss me too much.
But he's only done damage, and now there's plenty of bodies on the line to deny anything, at least a tradability. Izzy, it's been flushed straight out. Neki, though, playing on the edge, and at the end of the day, Heretics slowing their scale.
They've got Izzy off of the deep line. They've forced him all the way back. The cost of his own utility belt, but as you say, there are ults to play around here with for Heretics, and with Root already inserted into tower, that showstopper is an issue. Both satchels primed and ready to go.
Yeah, but look at this. I mean, there's been an evacuation order for Eternal Fire.
Fully giving it up, not wanting to marshal the situation any further. This is where Heretics take it up a notch. Move into a slightly more aggressive post plant, or so you think. Stepping off the site to allow Eternal Fire back in with this Rolling Thunder. That's exactly what was required. So much utility expended, and only now do the kills start to fall in place. Ordaz with the first, but this main control sitting on the shoulders of Benji right now. Lying on him, the reputation rests there. Wall goes up, Eternal Fire a couple back, and now it's only Rians left in the tower. For all that he's done so far, this isn't going to be a clutchable situation for him. And so Eternal Fire out of the timeout, make it work.
I mean, nice from Heretics, right? Site plan, get the spike plant, get the site to themselves. It's just that post plan you're going to have a big question of. Nice from Eternal Fire to just give things up and play as a group. Oh, lovely shots.
Neki really is one of those fragging IGLs, and someone that you need to perform alongside everyone else. An integral part of the system that they've built. And looking at it here, his ultimate means so much in the following rounds. A fully reactive setup from Eternal Fire, by the way. 3 players sat in spawn, waiting for the first sign of contact to make a rotation.
I mean, it's what the last round, right? Playing for the retake, but Neki's just swung wide. He's been caught. At least there's a trade on towards Woot, but overall, that could be big utility loss and a big ultimate as well.
Hat off the head of Benji. Information on where these players are. Ordaz trying to push up. He's caught in the corner now.
Yeah, no escape, and Koshmaris confirms it. Heretics looking to get to 12. Unless Izzy has something to say for it, but with an operator retake, you're expecting the inevitable. And I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Looks to be a save.
Damage on Riens doesn't mean much with this gun in particular, and the money is shot for Eternal Fire. You saw them last time out on this map against Pacific buy into the gun specifically, or even when they were on an eco, but they're going to be without it in what might just be the final round of play on Fracture. Closing it up are Heretics, 5 rounds to win their pick.
I mean, you look at the scoreboard between either side, right? And it tells a story for me. I mean, you look at Koshmaris, the way he's entering, he's always getting traded, but for Izzy, 4 and 17, the operator not finding value, Ordaz and Neki completely miles apart from the rest of the pack. This is not something that you see often, but it's indicative of what we're seeing right now in this story.
My camera is destroyed.
Last chance defense for Eternal Fire. Echo, once again, the one responsible for the B site. Looking at it here, one more cage left to just try and wedge the gap between him and the ensuing Heretics players. Kosh again creating that space, traded off. Exactly what is required for them to move into a post plant 3-on-3 with the gun advantage.
Yeah, post plant in now. Look at the retake. Izzy's gone searching.
Not gonna find anything for his efforts just yet. Boo playing disciplined, one away from the orbital strike. If he can find a kill here, this could be key. Is he spotted down in the sewers? And Benji, while it's rough around the edges, the result is there in the end. The story so far of Heretic Stage, it's taken a while for them to get going, but in the playoffs, it's going to be the perfect start possible against Eternal Fire. Ordaz has nowhere to go, and so many shots that he needs to hit. Benji the next to step up, 13-7 for them in the end on Fracture, as they make that first move towards Masters London.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing. It was
Single duel that was given to them. We'll have to see what they can do here.
Yeah, it's a different story when you consider how Fracture went, right? They were not winning a whole bunch there, except for pistol rounds. So as we come into this one, how are we viewing Eternal Fire's chances already? Team Heretics looking to prioritise getting this Phoenix on the orbs, and Woot looking to try and get on the face! Oh. That's a lovely double to get things started.
It literally could not be a better start for your Phoenix player. Something that both of these teams are going to be prioritizing is getting that run it back online as much as possible. The window you're looking at, 2 to 3 rounds. A kill and a death every round, something like that, gets you well on your way very quickly. We're already halfway up. And actually, Heretics just going to build off the back of this. A freeze in the mid-round.
Oh, it's lovely.
Grouping up for the B hit.
Yeah, and on top of that, Eternal Fire have read into it. They've gambled towards the A side of the map. Tried to get there early and unfortunately have costed them probably this round when you consider how many bodies Heretics still have alive.
I think it's been nice to see Woot,
Yeah.
especially on the duelist still in this lineup, playing into the Phoenix, something that we've seen a little bit more of with the absence of Yoru.
Yeah.
And he's got the molly here as well into the post plant, looking at Heretics fighting on site here against Eternal Fire coming back from CT.
Yeah, you're looking at who's pairing up alongside each other, who's playing with each other. Rien's probably the only island, but he can combine with either of the packs, and that's exactly what's going to happen. You're not even needed. Woot with 4. You said 2 to 3 rounds has it. That's a little bit faster.
Yeah, he's done it in 1. An in-zone flawless for Heretics. I was talking about perfect starts. This is as good as it gets. And so I'll be interested to see what exactly then the game plan becomes, what site they want to hit by the time we get to the bonus,
Yeah.
and how they're really enabling Woot to get the most value possible from this pick.
Yeah, I agree. I think that this is like a map for me that I'm really putting Heretics under the microscope, because this is a map that they haven't had the best of results on.
Sure.
And this is a new map that Koshmaris is playing on, right? We're wanting to see the differences that is coming through from there. And this is going to expand Heretics' map pool and towards the future, and towards that next game against Foot, which will obviously be a hard task considering it's tomorrow, right? If they do win out.
It's also getting to play games back-to-back off of a win if they can seal it, because of course, right now, it's still in play and it's Rien's finding the 3K on defense of the B side this time around. As you mentioned, it's them carving out an identity for themselves with this version of the lineup. And I think, just looking at it here as well, now you're coming into the bonus with
It was like the aim
4 rifles.
I had 3 kills.
And yeah, but with that being said, it's that bonus round that you were talking about, and the run it back still online, not used in that previous.
Heretics have been very direct thus far in how they've been taking the sites. It's only B, but the change up towards A begins here with Koshmaris teed up through utility to take full control, and Woot sparing no expense, no time to get that ultimate involved. Full respect shown on the Eternal Fire side. Not looking to challenge, but through the horn, actually a couple of pickups go their way. Fabian at the double. Benji trying to play spoiler to it, follow it up, but nothing comes from it in the end. And so, back to basics, back to just picking orbs up off the ground again.
Right there.
Heretics still interested with this one.
Yeah, I mean, they've not given themselves any other space on the map to build off. Instead, they actually just want to continue playing this forwards as much as possible.
Concealment.
Who, considering picking up the Guardian, timing on the smoke is horrendous, walking out into the Prowler's gaze. And so Eternal Fire do get one back, and they keep most alive for it.
Typical Eternal Fire, looking to use the extra ammo that they've got in the back pocket there towards the end of the round. But overall, it's a nice sight hold, and that's the big thing that Eternal Fire can be happy with. Even Fabian getting a couple of kills there. Sure, one was with like the Phoenix hot hands, but overall, a team ace, every player getting a kill, you've got to be buzzing with that.
And if you want to talk utility usage, it was the fade eye from Neki there, which is the difference maker. Difficult to have someone coming in to break it if you're full dive on the site itself, as they want to meet Eternal Fire. And Heretics equal here in the middle with Izzy still playing in behind this, but diligently cleared in the end by Boo. The A main overhaul from Heretics. And Wu well on his way to a second Phoenix ult here when the plant comes through.
I mean, this is going to be an issue if Eternal Fire cannot combat that A main play. Echo! Straight back in! Where does this come from? A 2-on-2, which you thought was never going to be doable, but it ends up being a round. It should have been Heretics, and ends up going Eternal Fire's way.
Another hero play for the Fire, and I think that has to be the biggest takeaway here, because at times it has felt like their win conditions solely sitting on a player making the difference in those kinds of moments. Brilliant entry to the round from Heretics, and I guess the flip side of that conversation is they have to be closing out rounds like this if they fancy themselves to go on a deep run.
Yeah, but it feels as if though all the players getting loud, and that's what you want to see if you're an Eternal Fire fan. But the point I wanted to get to, is if you're Heretics, that mistake seems easier, right, in terms of pathing on site, fixing issues like that. But we'll certainly find out. As it seems as if Heretics want nothing to do with the middle of the map, and that's where Eternal Fire are really playing for right now.
It's rinse and repeat on this A control. One of the first times that we see Izzy pull out a scope in this map, which has to be a focus, especially when he gets onto that operator, as this is something that Heretics really struggled with when they were playing against SOP the other week.
Yeah, I agree, and it also needs to be a focus because of that performance in the last map. 4-17, Izzy needs to pick things up in this one.
So yeah, another player that we look towards on the Eternal Fire side to turn things around back in their favor now on their own map here, because they're only against pistols here, and already Echo opens the scoring by dropping Wu in the alleyway. That does leave the rest of the site unguarded though, and so they can walk in here and hope for a post-plant.
Yeah, I think they'll probably get it, to be honest, although they're waiting for a reaction. It does not come.
Just looking for that extra kill to take some weight off of their chest.
Thing
Leave
is,
that
though,
pressure a little bit.
Koshmaris still does have that Guardian, so with these pistols in close range, I don't think this is as easy as Eternal Fire would think.
One kill to get the ult up as well. Still a wall to reposition if he needs it. I mean, I don't want to tempt fate, but still chances that Heretics could get something done here. And Kosh has found a couple of kills. Rian's in there as well, but it's only Benji left now. Sheriff shots won't find their mark. Izzy can't do the same either with his own pistol. So still half a chance here. Look at the health on Ordaz. He was, well, just a combined 40 HP in the end. So actually, Eternal Fire very lucky to get away with that one.
Yeah, that caught my breath for a minute, Hazza. I mean, it gets a bit far too close, to be honest.
You already know that's getting clipped, shipped, timeline,
yeah,
no problems.
Just shows it. Just shows the clip already. You're leading up to it. You know you want to. Here it is. Oh, no. Oh, Lord.
It's a bit awkward, isn't it?
Oh, well, at least they didn't show Benji's POV.
Yeah, get to see his reaction in the end. He knows what an opportunity that could have been.
Yeah.
Eternal Fire in front, but when you look at the ult economy here into what is such an important round for both, for Eternal Fire to establish themselves and for Heretics to get back into this game, the initial focus was towards mid, but that quick rotation towards B sets up the defense to receive Heretics here.
Run it back is going to stop any of this Cypher utility having any advantage. As Eternal Fire, they'll backflip the site using the Blaze Wall against Heretics. That was their own, and Eternal Fire the ones filling the kill feed. Koshmaris though, from and through the back of site, uses his own ultimate, and ends up costing himself his life. At this point, Hazza, with the failures of Heretics' attack, you feel like a timeout is coming.
Yeah, 3 ultimates invested and no return on any of them. Puts Heretics in a horrible position now, with the only rounds under their belt. The opening of this map, the pistol, the anti-eco, the expected ones. from that point onwards, a bit of a collapse. Eternal Fire, they were talking about being too readable previously. Well, it looks like they've got it spot on when it comes to meeting Heretics in some of these engagements.
It's worrying though. The fact that we're seeing now 4 rounds in a row from Eternal Fire and there's no stop to play. Continue on. Koshmar's already been seen. I mean, the fact that there's no support off the back of this, no follow-up, this screams of a fake.
Yeah, Koshmar is trying to make as much noise as is humanly possible. Bucky shooting into thin air. Fabian overwhelmed on the A site. Leaves it to only Neki. Benji is the solo player who swings from backside, so no follow-up there onto the player currently entrenched in the pit. With Heretics cut off here, they're actually forced to backpedal away from the execute and just reconsidering this 4-on-4.
There's pings towards the middle of the map. Should Heretics want to go and clear
he's not looking.
Unfortunately, able to keep his life, but now knows there's a player in main and looks to clear it.
It's the spike as well. Boo, the carrier, and the only one that can get it down on the site itself, relying fully on the arm push from this point, and that's where Izzy just starts to rank them up. The ult over-invested just to confirm it. And Koshmaris can't complete any further objectives, so with Eternal Fire now set up on 5, the map becomes their own.
I can understand Neki's Nightfall, just on the sheer fact of, like, you don't know how many bodies are there, and there's a little bit of panic. But Izzy's Overdrive maybe feels like a little bit too much to invest.
Kind of. I think it's one of those ults as the individual, you pick and choose. It's entirely your own decision, but I mean, just on the face of it, right, it's one less tool that they're going to be able to use in the following round. Considering the fact he's on the op now as well brought up. And heading into missed out on the final, had to rely on others to do the dirty work. Not a position that they can call upon this time, of course. It's in the middle of the year when you need results. And in the rifle round now, with the thoughts of Weber and Neil in their mind, Heretics go back to this A main play. It's Kosh that gets caught, but the trade is there as always.
Yeah, both Neons off the board. Fabian, though, looking to respect this and give up the space now.
Echo, the one who's cycled the operator as well. He's holding down B with the lens of his own. The Eternal Fire having the utility to just watch over these other areas of the map. Heretics again playing slow, not looking to head to the other extremity.
But look at the exec ultimates that Team Heretics have.
It's the Nightfall. And they're just queued up, waiting in A main again. Very straightforward play. Looking to see if Eternal Fire are willing to give out a peek. It's just the one flash from Fabian for now. That leaves Neki isolated backside. Second comes in and he's going to profit from it, but Heretics rally back with a couple of their own. The advantage now towards the attack side, and Odaz knowing he has to wait for this rotation.
He can retake with the Cosmic Divide, though the spam almost good, but can get a kill. Heretics keep the player advantage.
And they keep the players on site. With that ultimate in mind, from the Astra on the opposite side, they know that the only way to win this is keeping boots on the ground. Woot cornered in the pit, Benji not too far off it from Secret as well. Boo completes the 3 as this wide line perimeter cast around the site as the smokes go in, and there is the ult that we were expecting. Cosmic Divide placed from the players coming out of R. Ordaz trying to tap on towards the spike early on, and while Echo can find one, he needs another hero moment now. 2 targets either side of him. Back to the wall, can't get the half. Boo closing up the distance. He'll be dropped, but the time ultimately evades Echo in the end. The Eternal Fire will fall at the final hurdle, and Heretics get the round that they've been desperately looking for.
Yeah, bring that gap within to a chance to try and climb into this first half. Nice A main fight, as always, from Heretics, it seems. Eternal Fire not really able to fight against that. That post plant, again, another subject matter that we're going to have to keep talking about.
I mean, for everything that has been put out by Heretics recently, one of the main narratives is the focus on structure and fundamentals, getting that right above everything else with this change in personnel. So it's stuff like post plants where your capability of trading off one another, having that instinctive player tested. On this round, we see a bit of a change up. It's only Reans towards A this time, as the rest are starting to explore mid for the first time.
Fabian destroying the Cypher camp creates an illusion that Eternal Fire do want to hold this aggressively. say illusion, it's not necessarily an illusion, but it's not as far forward as you would think, and that's why Heretics give this up, don't want to clear, don't want to invest utility towards this, and start to head towards the B site.
They're heading towards Izzy and his operator, primed and ready with the smoke up. Heretics attempt to try and cross. He spotted a couple of targets, and it's actually going to halve Koshmaris there, down to 34. The Heretics given space to roam here. Izzy again wanting to interrupt with the op, but it's the ult of Woot that has cleared them all out, smoked the players from Eternal Fire in this situation. The spike isn't heading B-wards. It's going back onto A where the strong side lies.
Yeah, Eternal Fire.
No, it isn't. They've cancelled it again.
Oh, this indecisiveness could cost them because now Izzy on the line deep. And this
He's left.
The Nightfall, enough to pull players across. You can respect it from Heretics. A bit of a fanatic round, you could
Sure,
say.
but it is gorgeous mid-rounding all the same from Boo, especially when you consider the fact that they've been able to set up a post-plant here as well, with Koshmaris playing deep off of the divide.
Rienz, though, is playing so deep towards the other side, and he's caught out.
Still playing for the attention as much as possible. The Judge, a couple shots fired off, re-peeks in, still blinded. Fabian collecting onto that one. Bit of damage on the Eternal Fire side, but Heretics down to their last 3 members, playing out of the elbow. Woot here picking up the first of those kills, and doubling up for it, in fact. Woot can't get any more done, though. And that's where Boo is tested in a clutch, which he simply cannot win. For everything that Heretics did right in that round, they will be wronged in the end.
Yeah, it feels like a house of cards that's been built, and it did not take much to dismantle it. Izzy gets a kill on the lingering Rienz towards the other side of the map, and Koshmaris goes for a fight that he just shouldn't have. And in the end, it's a 5 versus 3 on site.
It's a smart call to get them in that situation.
Yes,
and
agreed.
I think one of the reasons why it works is because we've seen Heretics be so one-dimensional up until this point.
Yeah.
As a team that hasn't been a natural fit on Pearl, it takes a long time to build up that macro, so sometimes simplicity is the best option for them. And looking at it here, it might just be a simple split up the guts and into the A site again.
That could be, as Izzy's now back on the line with his operator, but he's completely missed the targets that he wants to hit. Everybody already in towards Art, but that spike lingering out, and if Izzy could just find himself moving forward or find bodies heading towards his crosshair, he could easily start to farm up some kills, and supported by his teammates, it will end up being easy in the end. And this should be... Whoa! That's insane!
Oh, it must have been Echo and Fabian's rank-up game, because I don't know how Benji's taken 2 with a right click there. Still a 2-on-2 situation. It's this Judge holding the cross.
But it's the Judge to release shot to put down one, and Izzy's operator the next.
An uncanny round there in the end, but Eternal Fire eventually come out the tunnel.
Welcome to the Twilight Zone. Like, bro, what is going on?
Yeah. I mean, that initial fight from Izzy is nice. I think it's every op player on this map's worst nightmare. Walking out the double doors to be betrayed by the barrel. Nice final shot, but Benji's got to go lotto after that one.
Yeah, big time. Big time. But we're back in with what is the rifle round, and once again, that E-main fight that we've seen Heretics win time and time again. Doesn't happen this time, as Koshmaris dives straight into the body of Fabian.
Ooh. Yeah, scorched on the way back out though, and actually they're going to re-clear this through Fabian.
Yeah, trying to use the run it back to their advantage, but already Woot denies that. Can't quite find Izzy, although he's taken a boatload of damage already. And look at the respect being shown.
It was from Woot's own Molly, and actually Izzy on this re-clear has to be cautious. Has not to be caught by Benji.
Take one body shot, that's all it would take. That's not the position you want to be in. Izzy now having to play a lot more reserved. And Heretics starting to second guess themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strong position for Eternal Fire. They have that cam posted up on B long in the corner, yet to be cleared. So any sign of danger sighted by Heretics here, an early heads up, and Izzy's fuel has recharged. He can make that rotation swiftly.
He can, and with Woot finding a kill.
It's a very low cam.
Certainly is. He could get that run
30
it back
seconds
online, and you can see right now the ultimate orb's still there. And that's what you'd want to clear out this Cypher utility.
And actually, Heretics are more wary of an Opry position here than anything else. Izzy's still posted on the art line, of course, as we know, but 16 seconds and yet to hit the site.
Well, we're going to have to hit it with all the force that they have left. And a simple kill onto the spike plan would probably be enough, but you're not going to get that chance with Echo taken out and Ordaz having to swing out from lane. The rest of the body's now here for Eternal Fire on this retake, but they're swinging out of smokes. And that's where Team Heretics should just hold, but they don't. They let it go, and it has to be up to Boo. A clutch to be attempted, and he gets it this time. That's what Heretics needed, a Red Bull clutch. And they get 4, which is a lifeline for that second half.
Again, Boo stands up, as we said, leading the way on the Heretics side for late round impact and proving his worth in the lineup again. A couple great rounds from him, not just in the gameplay, but the calls as well. This one left very late towards the B site. Doing well to weather that storm. If Heretics can find a way to walk out of this half with 5 rounds, that feels generous.
Certainly does, considering the mistakes that have been made, but at the same time, a simple adjustment to those mistakes and maybe a totally different scoreline.
Eternal Fire also have to be there to punish them as well. Looking at the setup on A as it stands, just one single player.
My ult is ready.
Fabian has been set up on this flank from B, but the rest of the members not going to get here in time.
Yeah, that side, the map gets smaller and smaller. Heretics need to get the spike plant down. They need to be pretty efficient here, but instead it's the pistols that end up being efficient. Oh my God, Eternal Fire showing us exactly what they're capable of. As Benji is able to keep himself alive. Both players caught by the nightfall, and yep, there it is. Bavian's re-clear, and that spike now caught. Benji showed us a 1 versus 3 on Fracture. This would be it. Keeping the noise close. This really does.
Ooh.
It's successful, and he's got the spike plant back.
No tools to cross back here, though. Actually, Eternal Fire are just going to give him the time of day to get this spike in. The cam is top mid, though, and if Benji checks this at any second, he would know that they're coming from main. He doesn't, though. He wants the gun in his hands.
Yeah, he's worried about a fight from CT.
I mean, this smoke could play against them, though. It's going to drop eventually, but Benji has to have an idea now.
Should do, but there is 1 star still in Ordaz's pocket. Benji has an idea. The reposition good, but not looking in the right spot towards main. And can't quite flick in time. So we end up at an 8-4 scoreline, which is definitely in Eternal Fire's favour.
Yeah, another smart round from Eternal Fire there. Heretics wanting to go deep for their site control, but handed a hefty price once more. 4 rounds is all they'll settle for in the opening 12 here. Back onto Eternal Fire's pick. We're going to see how the fans have been dealing with this one so far.
One enemy remaining. Ready.
Well, I can tell you, it's not just the players that are feeling.
After being 1 game away from crashing out against KC, it's a turnaround, a spectacle to witness. Eternal Fire on the other side, they want to keep this as clean as possible. As much momentum as you can, heading into a potential Lotus where, as we said, strong map for both teams. Catching Heretics sleeping is exactly what you want. And they've been good at pistols so far.
Yeah, not failed to win 1 so far.
Except for this map.
Yeah,
They won both on Fracture.
thank you. Thank you, Hazard. They have, right? And maybe it's the pistol round curse, perhaps. That's what we've been seeing.
Okay. Yeah, we can expand on that in a little bit, but for
I
now,
have the spike.
it's Eternal Fire grouping up for this B hit, and they're heading into Benji's setup. I say setup, it is 1 trap. Playing pretty deep with the support of Boo. It's a shorty, his weapon of choice. That might be a problem.
Could be if the players walk into it, but that's a big F, and when they do, it's Echo to clear through the cage, so advantage Eternal Fire.
Heretics looking pretty heavy-handed on this retake. We know that they like to flank heavy with their comp. That's if Eternal Fire don't detect it early on, and they have 3 players here in long.
Yeah, but well, I was going to say nobody dedicated to deleting it, deleting the haunt. They do, and delete the players as well. So in the end, this pistol round looking pretty decent overall. Eternal Fire for the 3rd out of 4 potential wins. Unless Team Heretics show us something special.
One
It's
enemy
Boo to
remaining.
clutch up in a 1v1. He was successful last time. Tries to see if he can bait out a swing, goes for the half instead, gets it, double tap, and can't quite win the duel in the end. So it's Eternal Fire to take 1 step closer to double digits.
Oh, it's horrendously close between the 2 clutch leaders, the captains on either side. Neki gets the better of Boo here and in the call as well. It is a brilliant read from Eternal Fire in how they set up this post plant. Full lawn control, anticipating Heretics to come in through the back door. And they know what a difference that would have made a round win. Seeing Boo buy up the Outlaw here, I mean, not often we get that look, yeah, but he is the solo B player.
I was going to say it's because he's solo B and he's allowing the rest of the players to be towards the A side, but already forced off. The player's already looking to rotate. I don't know about this one. Eternal Fire haven't done much yet.
Yeah, Eternal Fire love to play these slow rounds where they just wait for any kind of aggression. A team themselves which love to face check, so every opportunity for them to punish someone else trying to give them a taste of their own medicine. Kosh Maris is pushed up close to the wall here with the Bucky. The Prowler's missed him. Huge opportunity. Kosh only good for 1 though, and 1 doesn't feel like enough in that kind of situation.
It certainly doesn't. You want to have massive numbers advantage, and denying the rifle is also just as big.
Boo also in 2 minds. He left that aggressive line that he had on B, and is now starting to re-clear, but the timing is perfect for him. If he guesses correctly.
Is it as perfect as you think, though? If the players hit the site and he's not looking, well, should start to look now.
Izzy and Echo, both on light shields. There's the first of them. Boo catching it cleanly. The Neon player in transition, and so the Bulldog is now bestowed upon Echo. As you can see, Eternal Fire still trying to play this high line.
Yeah, I mean, they have to play on site because of the spike plant. This could favor Team Heretics.
See if Heretics can make these pistols work yet again. Boo still following it up with the Outlaw, of course. Oh, he's going to land one of the tags onto Neki, but not enough to take him down in the process. Players now starting to get into the backhaul side for Heretics here. But time is of the essence, and in this 3-on-3, the weapons just go against them every way you look at it. Double digits secured for Eternal Fire in the end.
And now we get to prove if the pistol round curse is a thing, because when it came to rifles in Fracture, Team Heretics won the big amount of them, right? The large amount of them. Eternal Fire, when Heretics won, the pistol was the opposite way, right? Essentially what I'm saying is, with this better buy, Heretics should be winning out, and Kosh Maris even going for his signature judge.
Okay, let's get set up.
A must-win round for Heretics at this stage in the game. An olive branch to hang off, perhaps, as we've not seen a major change-up in terms of the agents and their positions. It's the Astra Cypher towards B yet again, playing to try and hold as much as possible. Space already cleared out by Heretics, and Kosh Maris posted on the A line early with this judge, but the rotation hasn't quite matched it just yet, and that's where they could very soon be overwhelmed on the B site.
Yeah, but it's 2 of your best anchors if you're Heretics. You look at Benji Fishy and the amount of times he's shown us what he can do, but Boo has to swing out of heaven, and that might be a position which could be vulnerable. It's not. And Boo's now played in. Benji looking to try and play from the walls, which there at least to get a couple more. And in a 2 versus 3, Eternal Fire need to get that spike down, but it's instead Izzy's rifle that has to grab kills. He can't, so Heretics straight back in.
Heretics no strangers to mounting a comeback. They needed to against Foot to win that one 2-0. And they'll have to do the same here as well. Like you say, Boo feeling a little bit exposed perhaps, but we're seeing risks taken on the Heretics side. And a much clearer picture of the map painted early doors with that A main control, which they are able to take for themselves. In the process, Woot gets to run it back up, and we're coming into the most important ult cycle of this map so far.
Yeah, it is, because this decides who's going to probably take it for themselves. Is Heretics up first?
And whether it's them that can actually come back into this one, because Eternal Fire are thinking endgame at this stage. Gosh, Maris has actually walked the length of B long with this judge, mind you. Oh, so any targets walking into him here up close, I mean, this is so unexpected. He even hears the spike fall.
Yeah, should expect this. And with no gun out, Neki completely caught out. So if you're Eternal Fire, you need to try and get that spike back. And it's trepidation. As you can see, there's bodies dedicated to protecting that. And it looks as if this could be a very... this looks like an ace split for me.
No,
They've dedicated the Phoenix to this main position.
At the very least, Eternal Fire want to make some noise, create some pressure towards B, because they understand if Kosh is pushed that far up, it's got to be the weaker side, and they would be correct in thinking that. But then again, it's Kosh Maris with the judge, and he has found his second of this round already.
I know exactly.
Echo blindly spraying back through the neon wall, and does pick him up, so it's a numbers disadvantage, but Eternal Fire have won from these positions before.
And they have all the information they could possibly need. But you need to try and win against 4 bodies altogether for Heretics.
That's where the reposition is key. Gravwell laid down at the feet of Heretics on their entry back in from CT. Echo close to the Phoenix wall, looking to disrespect it, but as Ordaz drops, the chances surely fade. Heretics still yet to clear out Echo here, and as he slips in behind, there was half a chance. But it's only half for a reason. Half empty rather than half full, as Heretics have managed to pick up another.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing there. I think Ordaz actually stuns up Echo just as the players come back through. And I mean, Kosh Maris does God's work on this push.
Also loving that at the same time you've got Wu on the other side of the map pushing up with the Phoenix ult. Rather than just sitting idle, waiting for something to happen, takes the initiative rather than forcing it into a retake, which can be a little bit more readable at times. We've seen both teams, both Phoenix, made us believe many times so far. That is their story, ultimately mirroring Heretics when they came together at the start of 2024 with this lineup.
Certainly is. The one thing for Heretics, for me, Hazza, is they have to get through this round without using any of their ultimates, because we've seen them use ultimates on equal rounds before.
I mean, Kosh Maris does just have the overdrive, so I feel like it's more a case of baiting out as much as possible from Eternal Fire.
Yeah, I meant more Eternal Fire's ultimates being used. They have to get towards the other side without using their own ultimates.
Yes.
Just because that's how you finish out a map. And we've seen them use them before, especially on Fracture, for instance. That's where my head goes after saying that. So we see Ordaz give his best attempt at a fake towards this B side. And look at this. I love this from Heretics, taking the main space.
They have one of the arms of the push wrestled, and Wu, at the very least, is going to be able to make sure that Boo's death wasn't in vain. He's fighting up close to his own wall here. Can't connect the transfer. Fabian the one to pick it up. With the ult now online, he's sparing no expense, no time to invest it with a rifle in hands, because he knows as soon as it expires, he's going to have his health back to full.
Yeah, that he does. And while you look towards this coming back in, Heretics pretty split up. You're looking at Caution Art.
Oh, big 1v1 on the flank, and Benji loses out to Ordaz's Bandit this time around. Into a 2-on-2. Here is the ult from Kosh Maris to try and equalize things. Plant in the back of sight, and that means it's an issue for Izzy to try and clear out. They didn't even expect him to be there. Why would he? So far away from it. Kosh full sticking. Time of the essence. And Izzy winning the duel in the end.
Yeah, I mean, really worried. For me, Heretics should have won that round so cleanly, especially when they get the retake started, and you can see that the spike is just nowhere near for that main post plan. Obviously, they didn't realize it in the end, but...
I mean, that's why Rians thinks that the last player is towards Secret. It's why he goes wide in this situation. Because why would Izzy be on the other side?
I agree, but does that not come down to like a comms mismatch or something?
Potentially, right?
There's issues there for Heretics anyway. That's what we should be coming down to. That should have been a one round. An Eternal Fire now with the advantage to take this home. Ultimates finding their value, even on that eco round, which we didn't want to see.
That's the thing, too. It was the eco. So Eternal Fire primed right now. Heretics put down on their money as well.
Seems as if Koshmaris has even gone for an Ares, something that we've not really seen him go, is those high pen weapons.
Yeah, we did on Lotus just a little bit. Mitch absolutely hated it, and fair enough, it is the least played weapon that we've ever seen in VCT EMEA. Did generate some value. How much can it find on a sight hold?
Oh, he's just not too far away there. But unfortunately, it's all about value, and we've not seen any. His Eternal Fire find value in getting that spike down.
Half chance there from Heretics. Rians has the Nightfall, but I think they're going to be playing from 12 here.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. You've got to be looking at Boo's rifle as being the real difference maker instead. I mean, we're going to see Izzy burn, and it seems if Heretics are going to feel the burn. This Eternal Fire look to hit 12, and Izzy deny the rifle that Boo had in his hands. But he should be successful in getting out of this one. It should be, is the key point here, is the rest of Eternal Fire Baron down. So, map point for Peril, which is Eternal Fire's pick, and it's a similar scoreline to Fracture.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, right, as well, with Pearl being a map we'd only seen from them once, but an ultimate decimation of PBL, a 10-2 defensive half there. Didn't really get a look at the attack side, all things considered, so not much to work off for Heretics, a team which have been notoriously good with their preparation. Something which Starso mentioned on the podcast was that he felt they looked so in tune with the game plan that they were ready to make those reads, but on this map, it's kind of fallen out of the picture, I feel like, at times to Wolves and Paper X. This hasn't historically been a strong suit for them, or any EMEA team, I think, all things, when you look at the stats. So,
yeah.
Final opportunity for them here. And Eternal Fire very quickly to react off of that B pressure into an A hit.
And you can see Benji reacting as well in terms of how he takes this site hold. And the way the traps are set up, it's to hold back site. They don't want anybody coming in towards this part. And that's where they're going to set up the retake from. But Eternal Fire want to deny that. And they're going to get caught to the body because Fabian looking to take it one step further. But Boo's able to hold it down. And the rest of the army here for Heretics to try and help out. Echo so low. Neki getting another, but they need that spike back. Finally they get it, but Rietz comes through with a sledgehammer. Winning out and bringing Heretics one step closer.
Rians has always been that guy to bring Heretics back from the brink. Initiator of the year in this league, year on year. And with the situation here, marshaled excellently, playing together as a group for the most part. Woot does get a little bit caught on his reprisal through Flowers.
Round by round.
And they've got a couple ults here to work with. Woot one off of yet another Phoenix as well.
And you look at the the economy, in general for Eternal Fire, and it's not looking too hot.
Yeah, 3 players under 1k cred, so chance that they could be on a bad buy soon. For now, it's Izzy and this operator.
Yeah.
A real luxury.
Yeah, it is. The fact that you've opted for that in the current situation, not great.
Yeah, that's brilliant from Boo. Just one squeeze of the trigger and Izzy is gone. The op finding negligible impact again.
Round by round, as Benji said, kill by kill. Heretics take a step closer, but you can feel at any moment Eternal Fire could pull their own trigger and really cost Heretics the upper bracket life. Whoop. Denying Echo his chance to get in towards B.
Yeah, I mean, this is an area Heretics have left completely vacant. It does give an opportunity for Eternal Fire to mid-round, but not if Woot can find this kill, but he doesn't.
I mean, it's only cost him his ultimate, which is not a bad cost indeed, but did find out it was only the Astra. So the rest of the bodies stay magnetized to this A site. And with Neki being seen, the rest of the players put on high alert. They know that they need to try and deny any spike plan, especially with time getting so low. And Benji already getting rid of Odaz towards the other side of the map. Now, the cavalry looking to arrive, but they might not even be needed at this point. Heretics want to end this here and now. With time so low, Neki having no chance. He wants to save that rifle, which will be a premium in that next round.
Gonna have to try and fight his way out for it. Not enough time left to make the B rotation in full, but Heretics will outlast for yet another. Really interested to see what the money's gonna look like here for Eternal Fire and what options they're left with. It's looking like they are going to have to take the eco here, actually, I think. Just a couple of rifles for them.
Yeah, Echo thinking about bringing in a Phantom into the next one, which I don't agree with, but overall, Heretic's doing good there in terms of to playoffs, or being in playoffs.
I mean, yeah, exactly, and it's a great round to highlight as well because Koshmaras has brought out the operator here too. Not something that we've seen from him since he's moved away from the chamber all too much. Just trying to be that connective tissue from the alleyway as Benji will lend him a one-way cage for now. Eternal Fire sighted, Fabian specifically on B-Long with that ultimate now online.
It is online, and the spike at its back. Already Benji though identifying that Odaz is here.
So that's at least 2 players.
And you heard that the Fade Dog was coming through lane, so with that ultimate being used, this should now be an identifier. A cosmetic stun allows Koshmaras to die here, and Benji now having to hold things down against the eco, but it's going Eternal Fire's way. They can see the finish line in sight right now, right here. Unless Boo could show us something magnificent, but against 4, you don't fancy him.
Feels out of his ballpark. Heretics not making the improvements on Pearl, and Eternal Fire ready to punish them.
Does have the Cosmic Divide, but not a chance to really get it down. Finally does. But you can already see the players set up, looking to take the next fight, wanting to be the one to finish out the map here and now. And there it is. Fabian's the one to grab it, and we'll go 1-0 in this best of 3.
Like I was saying, Heretics maybe not up to the level of some of their other maps here. Lotus
Headline. One team has qualified to internationals, the other hasn't. In fact, the other, this is their first time in VCT this year, right? That's the big thing we've got to be considering. One map away from being one game away from London. The pressure must be felt by Eternal Fire.
You can already see here on the pistol round setup from Heretics, they are ready for any sand pressure. Eternal Fire creating just a little bit of it. Benji has the flash up for a re-clear, but still just waiting on that timing. Boombot goes into B main, and with the doors turned on either side of the map, Heretics now have an idea of what the situation looks like.
Yeah, and they're starting to rotate into this. Once this Vise wall gets triggered, they'll be confirmed right. But can Rien stand the test?
He's got players to support him, and it's only Echo through for the time being. Fabian movement error as he piles on over the top, and you go equal in that initial duel taken between the 2 sides, and Eternal Fire eventually collapsing on backside, making A their own. Heretics forced into an unlikely retake.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Benji still so far away as well, and taking his time to get back in buys Eternal Fire the perfect post plan.
Paranoia still up for Boo, but struggles to isolate Izzy in that endeavor. Already other side of the silent drop, so only the captain remaining, and he will fall where he stood. First round on the board for Eternal Fire. They have only missed 1 pistol round so far, and on Lotus, that is no exception.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that they come straight back in and show us the goods, the sight hits, that's the big thing, right? And it's something that Odaz was talking about in the most recent podcast with Mitch and Tom. It was like everyone underestimated us, but there is thought behind our rushes, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to show people exactly what we can do. And straight away, in towards this 3rd map, that's exactly how Heretics must have felt being dealt that blow.
Eternal Fire absolutely must be cerebral about how they play this, and already you can see Heretics trying to pose some questions of them here. Echo has no trap behind him, no way to know how far advanced Koshmaras was. So into the C play they go, a man down. Boo's still backfilling this on the other side of his own smoke, but can't connect the right click, and with that, Ordaz brings it back into an even standing.
Yeah, right click lottery not working out, but look at Heretics, they're already in main and ready for this post plant retake, but maybe taking a bit longer.
Eternal Fire in the meantime have managed to completely claim the CT side for their own. Izzy finding that one onto Woot, so just making it a little bit easier. Fabian even following it up through Waterfall as well. Heretics have been fully identified in what they're trying to do here. And by the looks of it, the rifles will survive as well. So Eternal Fire making it 2 for 2, making it clean.
Yeah, that's all they can do, really. and into the next one, you really start to fear what Eternal Fire can bite back with. This bonus round looking suspect, and a weapon that we kind of touched on towards the end of that peril was the Odin that Koshmaris can bring out, and he's bringing it out right here.
You can see Heretics' intentions to fight the A space early. Half of the rounds that they won on their defender side last time were on ecos when they wanted to get aggressive at the barrier drop. That's what they'll try and do through Koshmaris, but Necky's just holding down the line, ready for him, and it's far too easy of an opener.
Echo's still thinking about playing with the idea of throwing that cage in, but I mean, Heretics already own that space. It's a nothing burger. So now you look towards B as they look to get that execute in.
Able to stand the test at the first of those duels. Eventually, he does fall. Wall goes up, stalls out the rest. Izzy in a 1v1 towards Hobbit, but Rians will drop there, and Boo trying to step up to the plate is no better. Benji forced to face the music 1v4, and right now, Eternal Fire all playing to the same tune, singing from the same hymn sheet. 3 in a row uncontested.
Yeah, speaking of nothing burgers, there's one right there, right? Burgers. Cheers, mate, thank you. 3 in a row for Eternal Fire, and Heretics don't even look as if they're playing in the same server at this moment in time. Eternal Fire really confident at the start of this map.
Remember when I mentioned how Mitch was annoyed that Koshmaris was using the Ares?
Yes.
Wanted him to use an Odin?
Yes.
One of the reasons why the Ares is better is because the equip time is so much faster.
Yeah.
Look how long it took him for him to take the Odin out there. Didn't find any value from it, now that you can't spam through tree any longer. Heretics applying that early pressure, as I stated, is one of their win conditions.
Yeah, but as they try to peek in towards this C main, you can already see Eternal Fire gearing up for B. This feels like a live fast or die hard right now for Team Heretics, and they're not living at all at this moment in time, as already this execute's coming through.
The question will be, what kind of a post plant can Eternal Fire set up here? They're without main control. They have managed to push Fabian up into the heaven. Looking at the post plant success, just the raw numbers, not the strongest for them, but in this situation against the pistols, that's where you want to see some success. Koshmaris finding one of the classics, still the Bucky to fall back onto, but Necky at distance does enough. And so 4 will be found, no questions asked.
Yeah, 4 uncontested. And you've got to ask, when does Neil cause a stop to things and try and wake the players up? Because it feels as if they haven't, or they're going to sleep post-fracture.
We put so much weight on this first half, a mandatory must for Eternal Fire if they wish to move forward. One of their real strengths playing from this side. And I think right now, you just look onto the Heretics side, in terms of the setups, interesting to see how they've been playing. In the previous game against Foot, a lot of the time it was Benji solo by himself. Now they're trying to build around that, which was where we saw success before. He started a lot of rounds towards... Yet to find any ults here either, really. It was Woot's showstopper last time that they were able to creatively find success from. But if we even want to call back to the previous, Heretics lost 7 last time before we saw them win a round. Gonna be hoping it isn't the same here as we head into the full buy, and Boot already restoring some faith.
Oh, almost finding out Echo. But you can see Fabian already looking to get beyond the wall, and as it triggers, that Nightfall has found Benji. The rest of Team Heretics are ready to support.
Nice prowler in from Rians on stairs, identifying the second arm of that push heading it through. Heretics able to batten down the hatches, and there you have it. Benji surviving long enough to marshal the situation and call for support. That first wave arrives, leaving only Echo behind here with the off in hand. Can't correct in time, and so Benji does his job and then some. Heretics breaking the ice right out of the timeout.
Yeah, the value after the timeout is found, and with 3 of the players on 0-4, it's only Rien's left, but he's getting his value through utility at least, helping clear space, etc. So it's nice to see Heretics now start to wake up towards this early start. But we spoke about this before, right? Heretics and their slow starts. This could be the worst time to do it.
Let's go, boys.
And your decider in the upper bracket.
That's why them winning a round means so much. But to make it replicable is something entirely different this time. Support arrives to try and take Boo out of the equation, but actually, He's just doubled up. Koshmaris there with the op. And so just peeking in dry, Eternal Fire grounded in this situation.
There's one player towards every lane for Eternal Fire. They want to try and trigger the wall, which Echo has done, but look at Odaz.
This is such a dangerous ultimate. Heretics on high alert. Benji the only player towards A as it stands. Bit of a rotation made through B by the two on the Heretic side. Wu calling in the showstopper, but the door closes in his face, and so does the opportunity. Neki's found the player on C site. That was Boo. He falls. Now there's a flank in action as well, and actually, Neki wants to call this back, but he doesn't realize that Wu has pushed up off the back of it. Kosh kills the player that was on C. That's Fabian. And Neki's actually found Wu as well, so now Benji is back into enemy territory.
Yeah, he's really behind enemy lanes.
Eye of the Storm. Benji is caught, and with Echo investing the ult as well, the picture is finally made clearer. The fog is gone, and Eternal Fire are into B with a 3v2.
Yeah, and there's utility to hold off any retakes, any quick takes with the paranoia.
Fade-Eye comes in, Koshmaris trying to instigate something here with the ult nice and early. Finds the first on the drop, that's 3 down, 2 more left to find. Kosh still going, can't find a way to play. Rian's back in, but when he arrives on the scene, it usually means results for Heretics. A 1 versus 1 against Ordaz. No utility for either really to play around. Ordaz now cornered. Rian's towering over him from this position, but it's Ordaz to flip the script and win an important round for Eternal Fire.
Eternal Fire so far in front, it feels impossible for Heretics to try and bring them back. The fact that you see those multiple positions where Heretics could win the round, but instead Eternal Fire make the right decisions, clear at the right spots, and find themselves the round win.
Let's go!
Especially considering how their arch rivals BBL have been playing, I think Neki's really thrust himself in the conversation as a top caller from the Turkish region. Even with the layering of the op on the previous round from Heretics, those bright ideas of their own not amounting to much, as Rians finds a way to pick up Fabian, and Koshmaris up close with the judge on A means that they have complete control of both extremities right now.
Yeah, but Neki looking to try and find Rienz as Woot on the other side gets one onto Odaz. Overall, this looks like a done round, as all the bodies have fallen, and there's been no contest at all from Eternal Fire.
Yeah. It's a complete shutout on the Heretic side, and Koshmaris isn't going to finish until every bullet left in every last magazine is empty.
50 seconds is a long time to try and save an operator.
Yeah, especially when you're sat in spawn.
Yeah. At what point do Heretics start to get interested? If they get interested at all, I mean, it looks as if they're not moving.
I mean, consider the money. I think they've only got one player here that can play chase. Most likely would be Boo, but when you're looking at the position of Koshmaris, worth giving this one a look at the very least. They completely understand where Izzy is at this point in time. I think for Heretics, in terms of that round, it's again just playing double up.
Yeah.
Playing off of one another, getting this deep control, which Koshmaris has struggled to do towards A, but that is the premier area of the map, the ability to cut off multiple of these lanes towards different sites.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the fact that there is such a, I guess like it's such a magnet for the attack side to try and start your round. But I think C is just as strong, right? And that's where we've been seeing Eternal Fire kind of have a lot of success of starting there and then maybe pivoting towards B. And that's when you're seeing the spike actually start a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's because Sand is much easier to then re-clear later into the round, whereas A poses much more of a threat. And that's where Eternal Fire have done well to get past this deep lying position that Woot took up in the previous. So back to Heretics on this A control again. Koshmaris with a Phantom this time. Should have quit much faster. Can he find the kill?
Yeah, there's a lot of bodies for this next fight as Odaz does just get caught by the Fade C's.
Missed the stun as well on Koshmaris, and actually Rians is caught in the corner here other side of Breakable Door.
Yeah, now more bodies starting to be attracted to this for Heretics. Woot now here as well, but he'll bail out Riens, and overall it settles with a bit of a cold war, but it's Izzy instead to grab Koshmaris.
And so that precious real estate falls into the hands of Eternal Fire. Izzy presiding over it later into the round, and Rian's collecting the information that he needs
There.
on this B main push. Ultimate available, but yet to invest.
Echo trying to escape, but as the reclear comes through, he really needs to stand the test, and does so successfully. That should be the go button, right? Everyone to see, but instead, there's no panic.
This is such a patient round from Eternal Fire. Just showing maybe that they have learned some of those lessons. Is he watching the cross from A? The remainder of players in B main ready to scale out onto the site, and this one looking like a done deal unless
30 seconds
the
left.
two best clutches on Heretics have anything to say, and Rian's already opens his mouth with one.
Yeah, it certainly does, but Boo won't even get a chance to converse with this round.
Planted.
A 1 versus 4 Rian's. Yeah, I think you're better to save that rifle, mate, and I think you've got that thought in your head as well. Overall, Eternal Fire, it's just this blistering pace that you can see most teams struggle with, right? Even Fnatic, to a point, should have, you could argue, lost that series.
One of the reasons why Eternal Fire have been successful in this meta, this layer of it specifically, is they've been able to take elements of that international style, Pacific, for example, and bring it to EMEA, a region which often lacks that kind of diversity in terms of really playing to what is the best on the global stages. You know, that lack of success is a real thing to talk about. A good example would perhaps be how, you know, even Fnatic haven't been innovating too much, right? They're just happy to play whatever, and it has also been working for them. BBL not getting away with those kinds of things themselves.
Camera taken out.
Yeah, and at what point do you bring through that second timeout if you're Heretics, right, with 4 rounds left? That's the big thing here, because it looks like it's going to be now.
Yeah, it's timeout on the Heretic side. It's kind of aggression that can make it scrappy, make it into a brawl. That's when the issues start to pop up. Koshmaris bringing the Odin back out here as the A fight is ready to go again.
Yeah, ready for another bout, but who's the one to come out on top? Because last time it was Eternal Fire, and well, with the ultimates put in, you'd expect it to be them this time round. But it certainly seems to be Heretics. With the spike on his back, Echo turned away.
Camera taken out.
There is a 1 versus 1 against Benji if he was to take it.
That's if he can get there in time. He knows that Heretics are going to outnumber him on A.
Yeah.
So this is the route through to Benji.
Yeah, but steps should be here. Benji with the knife out gets caught.
That's a giant catch there. And this is an opportunity for Echo to set up in post.
Certainly is. No more utility. There was a cage put down to be used to deny any lines of sight. But that Nightfall's dodged, and Echo now playing up close and personal. The Prowler catching him. And, well, fortunately enough for Heretics, no chance at that clutch. So up to 3, Heretics straight back in.
Yeah, it's an intelligent read of the situation from Echo, but on the whole, Heretics doing well to find value from that A lobby fight. They're going to go back and take the Operator for themselves rather than the Odin. And it'll be interesting to see how that then affects the macro and what kind of a round they want to set up off the back of this, because I think so far, haven't maybe seen them get the most value from the scoped weapons. But these are the chaotic situations that they win, the ones which they are instigating.
Yeah. And that's what you need to see more of Heretics, being the protagonists, using this double duelist to your advantage, right? That's the big point here.
Eternal Fire just need to be wary here, because it's a couple of rounds for Heretics now. And the approach where it had been tempered in the past, a little heavy-handed maybe from Echo early to try and create some of that space, put a wedge between himself and the rest of the defenses. Benji's off is quickly put under the microscope, and this C-site can't hold for long.
Yeah, already had to use all his utility, and that's going to allow Izzy to hit the site. And while the rest of the players still not quite here, he's going to have to pop the ultimate.
Yeah, premature steel garden from Benji in the end, but he's able to fend off the ensuing Eternal Fire players. Up in smoke in the end as the site is sent smoldering. Still a 2 versus 3, and with a couple of tags on those CT players, Eternal Fire given room to plant.
Yeah, Boo's so late, and he has to re-clear a bit of that waterfall space. And you can see himself taking the time.
Eternal Fire castled up close. Neki playing from the corner in this situation here. Trying to stay aggressive. Woot is low. He's the easy target. It's Benji in behind on less than favorable HP of his own. Could be a serious issue if this spray down were to connect. Blind comes in, timing perfect. And with the showstopper online, Ordaz will fall after the fact. Boo, the only one left remaining. All he has to do is walk up and defuse the spike.
Yeah, I mean, he's left with nothing left to do, but he did get a lot of value through that paranoia. Able to stop the spray down, bringing Heretics closer to their opponents. This defensive side with a little bit of life now and a little bit of momentum to build upon. Look towards this next one, has it? Eternal Fire might not have the best of economy to fight back.
Nice! Let's go for it!
Couple of gun rounds go against them, and Eternal Fire are feeling that pressure, as you say. 2 rounds the gap, and if Heretics can find 5, 6 here on their defense, 6 rounds specifically, that's a huge win for them.
Yeah, this is where you've got to rely on your experience in these moments, and where Eternal Fire might get caught off guard, but Ordaz with the TP distracts the side players, and Izzy with a quick double.
Pacey play from Eternal Fire, straight out the strat book, and Heretics caught sleeping at the wheel again. Little utility left to invest. Rian's waiting on that eye, another 40 seconds. The Prowlers as well, and Fabian already finishing off Benji. Heretics are going to have to hope they can find 5 now, because Eternal Fire have run them into the ground on this one.
And in zone flawless, and it just shows you just exactly what Eternal Fire can do, right? It's the type of team that once you think you're safe, they'll hit you with a gut punch straight away. Unbelievable from Izzy.
Slow that down for me. Okay, both Neon players sliding, movement inaccuracy, still finds it. Makes sense why they're adding in the nerfs. Stuff like that can really catch you off. But it was the TP from Ordaz which dragged the initial attention. And well, here, I'm thinking about Benji alone on C right now.
I'm thinking about Echo alone on A as he tries to fight forward, and Koshmaz catches him. So with that,
and if they can make it 4 from 5 here, or 5 from 6, I should say, as they have done already, it's an opportunity to face regional rivals and guarantee a Turkish team will be heading to Masters.
certainly Eternal Fire have been living the dream like a laser beam, though, Hazza. He's already Echo identified at the pressure Heretics want to put on this C site, and remember, Eternal Fire have won almost all the pistols bar 1. That just shows you how proficient they can be. As Heretics onto the site have to be wary of Eternal Fire going to flood back in. It's a bloodbath! The Eternal Fire will be then 1 round away from double digits.
And sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. Eternal Fire conceding the site, but happy to come back in the retake then with numbers, a swift rotation. And for Heretics, it just feels far too simple. Bested in the pistol department today, but that hasn't been the only difference. They'll still have a couple opportunities to right the ship, but not in abundance.
Yeah, not even going to necessarily attempt any force here, willing to respect what Eternal Fire have. I mean, there's a Bucky on Kosh, and he's been good for these entries before, but I mean, that's a lot of hope to pin on one player with a pretty weak buy.
Eternal Fire, ooh,
okay.
Was gonna say would be feeling comfortable in this round. But that makes things interesting. Oh, weapon dropped to the ground. There's a few more of those
Spike
now.
down A.
Neki at the double, Echo there with him.
Player
Okay.
standing.
And Heretics thwarted from this position. Kosh has a slide to play with and very nearly gets the better of Echo. But the fact of the matter is the rifles survive and Eternal Fire will head into the bonus strengthened.
That they will. I mean, into this bonus round, it doesn't really necessarily feel like that, right? You know that Eternal Fire, like before, will be able to really make you pay. And this is the thing we've seen a few times. Saying hello?
Yeah.
But like we've seen these ecos get close, but not really have any conversion from it, which feels like Heretics a little hard done by here. As we come into the next one, Eternal Fire, 4 rifles in the mixer.
One of the things right now which Heretics are without is their individuals, I would say.
Yeah.
3 passengers sat on 5 kills or thereabouts, who at any moment can change the face of the game. The coaches talking about this at length. Not showing up when they needed to in groups. Now with momentum at their backs, that initial pressure created on C through Kosh Maras. He's done a brilliant job so far, but it will fall to the rest of the pack. Now trying to claw their way towards this A-site take. Brilliant blind from Boo, but no follow-up there to start off. Neki laying down the law again. 1 bullet left in the chamber. And as he just plays as a distraction, actually, the follow-up, not quite what was looked for, but Eternal Fire get through it regardless, and that is 11.
That is 2 rounds away from the next game against Foot. Eternal Fire confirming what you said, a Turkish team in Masters London,
Enemy remaining.
and an exciting game at that. Eternal Fire against Foot, a match where it's basically 2 similar play styles. But we'll think about that in a second, because right now, Heretics on a low buy to try and deny 12.
It's not done yet. Any Heretics fan will tell you that.
Gotta go.
And whether that's just a mixture of hope, blind confidence perhaps, something has to happen here for us to start believing. And Echo is the nightmare that's plaguing them right now. Brilliant tether used to just tee up Izzy on the A side. And Boo sitting in the middle of all of it with so much to do right now. He's going to find one, and there's a little bit of headroom here for Rians, but not as much as he would like. Both traps. It's a trap kill in the end.
Man. Nah. You've got to look at it this way. Eternal Fire up to 12, and that just sums up Heretics' performance so far on this map.
I thought they made the wind-up longer.
Yeah.
Heretics have been very pacey with how they've liked to take these attack-sided rounds, and I think sometimes just not giving themselves the time or space to make it happen. Fabian loving every second of it.
That's tough.
As not only do Eternal Fire look like they're going to be winning this series, but in a dominant fashion over the final 2 maps.
Yeah.
The maps where we thought that Heretics would have them at arm's length.
Well, as we said in the Vitality game, this team feels like one of the future teams of our region, and they're putting another team from the past to the sword. I mean, sight open, Heretics with a chance to keep themselves alive.
We're trying to stoke those embers as much as possible. This showstopper would love a kill. It's, ooh, is that damage onto Ordas? No, narrowly misses.
Yeah, that's a big point to try and come up. A little bit of damage has it. That rocket was taken off, just like Eternal Fire looked to take off in this playoffs. And a 3-on-3. They tried to hold down, but Benji's doing it all by himself. Rien's finally helping out, but Ordaz in a clutch. Surely not. Not like this. Almost like this. Rien's keeping Heretics alive. But that's a long way back.
Heretics having to keep themselves headstrong. If there is any way, any route back into this game, a stoic set of players, sure. And in situations like this, when it's cut so fine, with ults of their own invested as well, matters made no easier for them.
Nice! Let's go! Guys, come on!
You can see some of that post-plant aggression as well, where Eternal Fire do just drop off a little bit, and so the Angel, we look once more. Root revealed.
There's Boo, no, and that's so quick on the mark, as well as Izzy.
Oh,
Heretic straight back in from Wood. Fabian, a couple of his own, and the rock is good. Eternal Fire move one step closer to London, and there will be guaranteed one Turkish team in London.
all fires start small, and the sparks that we saw from kickoff have ignited into a future which burns bright